Hello and thank you for joining me today. In this quick little video, I'm going to demonstrate how I use my frequency separation technique to clean up images. Specifically in this case, I have a bicycle chainring to work on. It's quite dirty actually, even though I cleaned it and gave it a dusting with a can of compressed air. So what I have is I have an action in Photoshop which sets up a series of options for frequency separation, keeping the high frequency and the low frequency layers separate. So I have it here in the actions panel, and it is labeled FS2, that's frequency separation 2. It's 16 bits, so it's a big file, fairly big file, lots of information, and all I have to do is hit the play button here and it sets it up. So we're just going to wait for that to start. Originally, frequency separation was used for doing skin, but it is very handy for doing all kinds of subject matter. And I don't generally photograph people that much, but I do photograph a lot of objects. So here we have this part, and I'm going to clean it up. After I press OK here a couple of times, this applies a low median filter in both the high frequency and low frequency textures. So as soon as that's done, I'm going to get rid of this panel here. So that's done. And over here in the layers section here, you can see all of the different levels of what would you call these? Oh, applications, frequency, filters, yada, yada, yada. I don't know the precise names, doesn't really matter, but I know what it does. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in close and look at my situation. As you can see, there's a lot of gunk and there's some damage, but that's to go without saying that brand new metal things are generally quite dirty, even though I've cleaned this thing. So I'm going to start with my high frequency layer. As you can see, this layer is clipped to this layer here. So this is the one I'm working on, and it applies my technique to the layer below and keeps it there. So as you can see, it's clipped. I'm going to select my stamp tool, and I'm going to select I'm going to hold down my Alt Option button and unclip this. It's unclipped. Now you see a gray, 50% gray layer, but to really see my details, I need to incorporate this solar layer. So now you can see all the details. So all these white spots, most of these white spots are going to be something that should be removed. So I now have my stamp tool, and I'm going to hold down my Alt Option button, select the clean area over here. This is clean. I'm selecting anything over here that is not busy, that does not have a lot of contrast. And all I'm going to do is touch it onto these annoying little white spots. So these annoying little white spots are going to disappear. And it happens really quickly. We have a weird little squiggly thing down there, which is a fiber of some sort. So I'm going to get rid of that, just like that. So this is frequency separation at its finest. It's quick, it's clean, and it's totally reversible. So all I have to do is undo this entire action and restart it. Or I could make multiple copies of this file and work on them in different ways using different tools. Sometimes the high frequency repairs are not something that would have been visible in the final image anyway. But we're going to go back to the layers panel here. We're going to reclip this. We're going to turn off the solar, and as you can see, it is cleaner than it was. So this is before, this is after. So I'm turning off the frequency separation layer here. That's before, that's after. Nice and clean. So I could keep going and do this whole thing, and I probably will, because it's really dirty. And I would get to where I want to be eventually. This is probably going to take an hour, maybe less. Or another way of doing this is to choose my, they call it the Jesus tool. this thing over here, whatever it's called. What is this called? Spot healing brush. There you go. I forgot. And go up to my retouch layer, RT, retouch. So now I'm on that layer, and I'm going to do basically the same thing. Just spot out these annoying little white dots of detritus or scrapes or whatever it is. Because I want this to be as clean as possible. I shot this for my portfolio. It's going to be part of a composite, a conceptual image. Maybe I'll add a graphic or something like that to make it really pretty, make it really exciting. It's for a bicycle, so it should be exciting. It shouldn't be delicate and pretty. It should be fun. So it kind of depends on what it's for, what the object is. Metal bits tend to have a lot of hidden dirt, I have found. So what I'm doing here is I'm just touching these annoying little white spots with the healing brush. That's all I'm doing. Okay, going back to, now this white stuff, not going to matter at all because I'm going to cut this out using the selection tool techniques. It's very handy. Very handy. You should try and use this if you have not used it yet. Okay. Now going back to my other tools here, let's go back to this. Let's say I have an image that has tones like this, and there's this weird little blob in the middle. I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to go down to my low worker layer. I'm going to select my brush. I'm going to cycle through my brushes until I get my blending brush. If you look over here, there's a brush with a blob of paint. Sorry, mixer brush. If you don't have that, go through the process of putting it into your panel of tools here. You can look up on YouTube on how to do that, how to add brushes and that kind of thing. I'm not going to get into that here, but I have that here. I'm going to make this bigger. I'm on my low worker layer. I'm going to keep the wet option 100%, my load 100%, my mix very low. My flow doesn't have to be 100%, but it could be. You can play around with this until you find something that works for you. Sometimes each situation is different. Now I'm going to hold down my Alt Option button to select and slide my brush across the offensive area to blend it into the background. Okay, so now I've basically done what I need to do. As you can see, there's still a little bit of black blob there. That means that is on the high frequency information. So go back to my stamp tool, go back to my high median worker layer, unclip it. These dots, that's the retouch layer. Go back to here, get that solar thing going, and I am on my high median worker. Again, select a clean area, make my brush a bit larger, and zap. That's that. Now, I'm going to go back, clip it, turn off my solar, and that offensive black blob is gone. So that's using the stamp tool on the high median worker and the mixer brush on the low median worker together to deal with an object that is not supposed to be there. Or you need to smooth out some tones and you can't figure out how to do it easily. This brush is amazing for that sort of thing. Where'd it go? That one. That brush is amazing for that, the mixer brush tool. So look into that on whatever courses you seem to like and use it to the best of your ability. You will enjoy using it. I'm going to go back to my retouch. I'll get my J tool again and get rid of that little blob, that little blob, that little blob, this weird little blob. Anyway, I got a lot of work to do here. That's my quick technique on how to use the frequency separation for cleaning up objects. I hope you learned something here today, and I thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Mike Taylor at Mike Taylor Photo Arts. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.